Hi, my name's Dr. Melita Housley. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I wanted to talk to you today about how we can use the minds that we have to regain a sense of safeness and calm amongst the stressful times that we're currently having. So first of all, I'm going to go through the fun science of how our mind works. The human brain has evolved over thousands of years. So we have a part of our brain that we share with all other animals, and that part is responsible for our survival. So there's three main parts to that bit of our brain. It's known as the old brain. The first part is our motives. So that's things like keeping ourselves safe, making sure we have enough food, procreation, caring for others, and maintaining our social status. The second part of the old brain is emotions, and the main four emotions would be anxiety, disgust, anger, and joy. And the third part of the old brain would be our behaviours, and these are our behaviours when we find ourselves under threat. And so they would be fight, flight, freeze and submit. And I'm sure that you've all heard of your fight-flight system. So that comes from that old bit of our brain that is there to enable us to survive. Human beings have also evolved to have a new brain. So that would be the outer part of your brain here. And that's responsible for things like imagination, planning, rumination, being able to work out what other people might be thinking, self-reflection, and also self-monitoring. Now, the difficulty is that this new brain, although it's great because it enables us to do lots of things and to plan things for our future, and in the current circumstances, things like being able to develop a vaccine for COVID-19, that would come from our new brain abilities. But also what can be difficult about it is if we've had any difficult experiences in the past, we can then use those experiences to predict what might happen in the future. And of course, that can keep us in an anxious state. So one example of that might be if you've ever been bitten by a dog, and then what you might do in the future is, because you've been bitten by a dog in the past, your new brain then thinks, okay, well, all dogs must be dangerous, so I must take action to avoid dogs. If you saw a dog in the street, you might start to feel quite anxious, and so that creates new problems for us that might not have been there otherwise. The other difficulty is when we do feel under immediate threat, the new part of our brain effectively shuts down, because we don't really need to think if we're under immediate threat, we just need to survive. And what that can mean when you're feeling particularly anxious, which I'm sure you are at the moment, is that you can find it hard to concentrate and focus on things. You might feel more irritable than usual, and also it's more difficult to not give in to your impulses. So you might, for example, have an extra glass of wine, even though you know it's not good for you, or have an extra bar of chocolate or something like that. In addition to our old brains and our new brains, human beings also have a drive and an ability to socially connect. And this is something that we're born with. It's an innate drive. And the reason we're born with this is because human beings without an adult caregiver around would be unable to survive. So they form attachments to their primary caregivers who meet their needs. And over time, with that primary caregiver meeting your needs, you start to internalise that. And that's what enables you to start to be able to soothe yourself. However, human beings still need this social connection right through to adulthood. In order to feel safe. So we still need to feel connected to our friends, to our communities, to our families, and we do continue to gain a sense of safeness from that. And the good thing about this ability to socially connect is it enables human beings to develop what we call compassion. So what is compassion? Well, many people think that compassion is being kind, but actually, although that's part of it, that's only a small part of it. Compassion has three main components. It's the courage to tolerate suffering, it's having the wisdom to know what to do to alleviate that suffering, and having the motivation to take action on that. So there's three main parts to compassion. If you'd like to learn more about compassion, I suggest that you look at the work of Professor Paul Gilbert, who's a clinical psychologist who's done lots and lots of work around the subject. And Paul is the founder of the Compassionate Mind Foundation. being compassionate towards ourselves and allowing others to be compassionate towards us, as well as being compassionate to others, is really important for our well-being. And what we know is when we're engaging in compassion, our brains release chemicals such as oxytocin, which are really important for helping us to feel connected to others and to feel well within ourselves. So how do we use all of this science to help ourselves? I've put together a worksheet to help you think about how you can bring compassion towards yourself, and also for you to work as a family on bringing compassion towards yourselves as a family. What I've done, I've split it into 3 main areas, so that they are developing a healthy mind, developing a healthy body, and developing healthy connections. Now, what I'm going to do over the coming weeks is put together some further videos on each of these areas, on specific things that you can do or think about to bring compassion towards yourself in those 3 different areas. But for now, what I'd like you to think about is what is important to you in each of those areas, and that's going to be different for each of us. So what do you value in each of those areas? So for healthy minds, I've put together on my worksheet a number of things, and one of those is I like to learn new things. I like to find information out about things, and I also like to have time to relax. So those 2 things are really important to me. In the second part, the healthy body, for me it's about exercising and eating healthily. That's really important to me, so I've written those 2 things down in there. And for healthy connections, for me it is spending time with friends and doing fun things with my children. So they are just a couple of examples of what you might put in each of those areas. And then the next part is to make a promise to yourself, or make a promise to yourselves if you're doing this as a family. So at the bottom of the sheet we've got some pledges, and I'd invite you to make 1 pledge for each area for each week. So make a pledge to keeping a healthy mind, make a pledge to keeping a healthy body, and make a pledge to keeping healthy connections. So for my sheet, for my healthy mind, I have that I'm going to play my violin for 20 minutes each day. So there I've been very specific about what I'm going to do and how long I'm going to do it. And it's also a good idea to think about when in the day you might do that, because if you don't make your plans specific, it's easier to just let them go and forget about them. So for my healthy body, I've put that I'm going to learn a new recipe and make that for my family over the coming week. So again, in that I'm learning something new, so that's helping my healthy mind as well. And then the third one is that I'm going to FaceTime a different friend each evening this week. So obviously in the current climate, I can't just go and catch up with friends face to face, but what I can do is use technology to just stay connected to those people who are important to me. So I hope that's helpful in terms of structuring your thinking around how to bring more compassion towards yourself. Just a couple of key points really. One is that this doesn't need to just be done on your own, although that can be very helpful. As I said earlier, you can also do this as a family and come up with a family pledge for things that you're going to commit to together over the coming week. Another important point is to not engage in any self-criticism, because self-criticism is going against what we mean by compassion. So if it is that you don't manage to stick to your pledge, that's okay. We've all got busy lives, things are a bit uncertain at the moment, and if you don't manage to do things, that's absolutely fine. It's just about setting the intention to do these things for yourself and for your family. And the other main point is to remember that compassion has 3 directions. So it's about allowing compassion in, showing compassion towards others, and also showing compassion towards ourselves. So just holding that in your mind when you're coming up with your pledge, that it doesn't need to just be things for yourself, it can also be things that you're going to do for other people. I do hope that was helpful. I've attached a copy of the worksheet for you to print out, and do let me know how you get on by commenting in the comments section. And if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to our channel. I do hope to make more of these videos. Have a lovely day.